Hey folks, happy Winds of Magic release day. I want to quickly go over and introduce two Waystalker builds I've been using on Kata, and I will then showcase at least one of these builds in a video that I'll also release today, where I do guided runs with new players. So it's all coaching, you'll learn a lot. Alright, let me just jump right in. The first build is an extremely standard Dagger, Hag, and then True Flight ult. The engine of the build for MO Sustain is so easy. Ult, when you hit any special, right? If you hit a special, hit an elite, you get 30%. And if you hit two, you get 60% of your MO. Your MO sustain, long as you're using your ult on elites, is very high. It is very easy to get multi-kills on elite ambients, the guys that are just standing there, like two Storm Vermin, aim at one, you'll get two, you'll get all your MO back. They also buffed, in the last patch, MO capacity increased to 100% rather than 50%. So when you get 60% of your MO back, it's even more MO than it was before, right? So they changed MO sustain, but it's even higher than it used to be. But they took options away. You absolutely must use this. Okay, so we've got Hagbane for the same reasons as always. You spam into hordes for lots of damage and lots of control, and every time you hit something, you get a little bit of ult back. So that's the engine that gets your ult back as usual. Then you pop this guy, and you get all your ammo back. Easy, right? Okay. Next two components. Azrai's focus is just a straight 20% cooldown. Move speed is really important. 15% move speed is a big deal, but I don't think you can keep this up with Hagstalker on Kata. Maybe on high level weaves you can, but for the most part, 20% cooldown, no brainer. Next, replace your passive health regeneration, which is pretty piddling, with 5% cooldown on tick. You get like 3-4 ticks between, so it's like another 20% cooldown, maybe call it 25. Depends on how many times you're hitting things with Hagbane. So anyways, you're talking between these two like something like 40 to 45% cooldown reduction, right? However, it may well be the case that extra health regeneration feels good to you. So I want you to try both of these and see what feels good to you. It's going to depend on your playstyle. If you find your ult bar is just sitting there doing nothing too often, then obviously you're better off with the health regeneration. It's going to be 1.5x normal. What is it like? I actually can't remember the numbers, but it's enough to be considerable. You will feel the difference. And if you get this, you give up the health. The party-wide one. Get your own health. Okay, the stagger talent, Assassin is extremely strong. Assassin's extremely strong if you know how to headshot with your melee weapon, which I will show you how to do in just a moment. Next, you have some real choices here. Serrated Shot makes it so non-poisoned attack, read non-Hagbane, adds a little bit of poison damage. Actually, it's a bleed damage. And that bleed damage does not stack with daggers. And of course, we're on Hagbane anyway, so nothing here. Jokira's Alacrity, every time you get a headshot, ranged headshot, you get 15% attack speed for 5 seconds. It's not that hard to keep this up. 15% attack speed, it's pretty good. Swift Slaying is insane, and that's 20%. This is 15%. It's not that hard to keep up. This is a real possibility. I haven't experimented with it that much, but this could be it. However, I think the coolest talent I've played with since all the changes, and many, many talents have been changed if you haven't noticed, is Bloodshot. What does Bloodshot do? Every time you get a melee kill, for 10 seconds, when you shoot a ranged weapon, you get 2 triggers. Let's turn this even lower. It triggers twice. You get double. So it's very easy to get a double shot into a horde, wade into it, melee, whatever. As soon as you get a Bloodshot trigger, pull back, double shot. Doing a charge shot with Hagbane, because as you know, a Hagbane charge attack has a larger AoE. So you get more out of every MO you get. You get tons of MO sustain, and during hordes you're making a lot of progress. Great. Lots of efficiency versus a horde and versus elites. This is your engine right here, and this is your extra efficiency right here. This is your extra efficiency during hordes. The only time you're going to go dry is against bosses. So I'll give you some recommendations on that. But the bottom line is being at full MO all the time when you might go through a boss trigger is a must, unless you're going to have people to help you. Last, how do you keep your HP up? Well, you're still using Weave Bond, which is melee crits, and headshots give 2 HP. And if you get both, you get, I think you actually do get double. You get 4. On Cleave is not that good. On Cleave's not that good. The winner of the temp health reroll, right? They rebalanced all of it, is actually on kill right now. On kill is very good. On crit, on headshot used to be really good because it used to actually give you 3 per hit, not 2, right? It was already 50% higher than it meant to be, so it was very good. Now it's just okay. It's fine, but you take hits, you have to play careful to keep up. Okay, what's the rest of the build? Hagbane, Barrage, that's it. Obvious, right? Properties don't matter too much. Chaos Infantry, Chaos actually works against Beastmen, so this is a good setup to spam hordes, right? You could substitute out the infantry for monster for a little bit of boss damage, and you'd be completely reasonable there. Let's look here at the charm. You can go a lot of ways here. Chaos Infantry is fine. That's justifiable. It gives you even more horde clear with the Hagbane. It's probably not necessary. I did Chaos attack speed here. The attack speed is a little bit more attacks, right? So a little bit more HP sustain. That's it. Because if you're attacking, the more times you attack, the more times you crit, the more HP you get back from temp HP on crit and headshot. You could also consider crit damage here, but you have to remember that crit damage does not do anything for Hagbane's AoE. It does do for Hagbane's main attack. So it's okay. It's okay here. It's not great. But it doesn't do it for the dot either. So crit damage is bad on Hagbane, so that's why I'm not running it here, even though it's great for most melee weapons right now. Okay, speaking of melee weapons, I'm running dual daggers again here, and I'm on crit chance. Crit chance means more crits. Crits means more temp HP. That's great. And from crits, you get a whole bunch of stagger and things that don't normally stagger, and that's great too. I have crit power here just because it's a power horse. You could easily run attack speed here. Slaying is a guarantee. Remember, though, we're not running any defensive properties here. In Minotaur, remember the second attack, he's at that 3-hit combo. The second attack is a double attack. And the first attack does enough, takes enough shield that it'll go right through the shield, right? It'll kill all your shield, and the second hit will hit you, and you'll take a whole bunch of damage, and you'll get a move slow, and God help you, you might get hit by the third hit in the combo. Just remember, if you're running daggers, you're very vulnerable to Minotaur. Why daggers? Because, one, the huge move speed right now just feels good, plus I'm running on Shade, so I'm very comfortable with them right now. It also feels really good to just weave in there and get one kill, which triggers your Bloodshot, so you can get a double shot with the range. There's a lot of synergy right here. It's not mandatory whatsoever. Oh, I don't think I remembered to mention this the other day. They buffed daggers so the bleed, you used to only have 1 stack at a time. Now you can have 3 stacks, which makes the left click, just left clicking all the time, extremely good. And you got to think, the attack speed on dual daggers is very high. All the dual weapons is very high. It's slightly higher for dual daggers. The higher your attack speed, the more times you're hitting things, the more likely you are to be, the more crits you're going to get per unit time, the more temp HP you're going to generate. That's some of the reasons I really like the dual daggers. However, not mandatory. Not mandatory. Sword dagger is a great pick. Spear is a traditional pick. It does great headshot damage. It's pretty easy to headshot with once you get, like, it's learnable to headshot with, and you can play it from a safer positioning. Daggers wants to get up close and dodge dance. Spear wants to sit back and just max range poke for the head, right? So if you find yourself uncomfortable with pushing forward or something, dagger might be more to your playstyle. Glaive is defensible. If you do glaive, it probably hits cleave instead. You could do sword dagger easily. I like sword dagger. You could even do dual swords if you really wanted to. Make it a little weak versus elites, but there you have it. Okay. This patch, I find myself really gravitating towards daggers, which means it may just be strong, but it could be playstyle dependent. I don't know. Necklace, as always, I'm on health block cost reduction boon. Could be health stamina boon. I think boon is absolutely essential. Health's essential. The other property. Last thing is the trinket. If you're actually doing book runs, curse resist is a great idea. Crit means more temp HP, as we've discussed. Stamina recovery versus cooldown reduction. Remember that let's say you have 80% cooldown reduction, right? The next 10% cooldown reduction you have effectively doubles, right? Doubles how often you can cast. The way cooldown reduction works, the more of it you have, the more each percent of it is worth, right? So cooldown reduction here means even more ultimates. It means even more ultimates because you're already probably sitting on something like 50%. 60% is more than 10% better than 50%. I know it seems weird, but I think you understand what I'm saying. The more cooldown reduction you have, the more each percent worth. So cooldowns here is good. Stamina, I've always loved stamina. Stamina means that every time you get hit, the amount of time it takes to start getting stamina again is decreased, which means you're less likely to just die. And on daggers, running out of stamina is not that uncommon. So I actually like the stamina recovery here. One more quick note on traits. Traits. Shrapnel excellent. Bomb damage has not been upped, right, with kata HP. So actually killing things with bombs is less reasonable, but shrapnel is still really good, especially on bosses, because killing bosses fast enough is hard right now. And proxy for the same reason. Proxy doubles the effect of the potion, as we've discussed just yesterday. So anywho, this is the build. I'm going to really quickly show you a meme build I've been using. I've only played it a little bit in normal kata, but I played it a lot more back in the previous beta. It's really fun. Oh! One little mechanic I forgot to tell you. One little mechanic. Bloodshot's a little broken right now. If you don't hit anything, it does not consume the Bloodshot proc. So if you get a Bloodshot proc, and I think I can test this in town. Get a Bloodshot proc. Look, 2 arrows. Oh, no, it's not going to work in town. Yeah, there it is. See, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Right now, unless you hit something, the Bloodshot proc does not get consumed. So with Hagbane, if you spam the ground, you get double shot, double shot, double shot, double shot. However, it's much harder to get max value, right? So if there's 15 dudes standing here and you hit and kind of jump and hit a guy somewhat in the middle, there's a good chance you'll hit all of them. Whereas if you hit the very periphery, trying to maintain that Bloodshot proc, you're very unlikely to hit it. And remember, the actual direct hit does damage too. So you're giving up damage. Basically, you're giving up ammo for damage. And even then, I'm not sure it's net damage. But it's a little mechanic right now. And one other little mechanic that matters. When you hit something and stagger it, if you hit it again right after, you stagger something twice, the second stagger is stronger. In other words, staggering already staggered things is stronger. So that means you're more likely to be able to hard stagger like a Storm Vermin or something like that with that Bloodshot double proc. Okay, what's the other build real quick? The melee weapon is, again, dealer's choice. Though for this one, I kind of recommend Sword Dagger because you're going to be doing more horde dancing. But again, it's dealer's choice. Doesn't matter. Let's just put it on it. The ranged weapon is Longbow. And the only important trait right now, because I haven't looked up any breakpoints that matter, is Conservative Shooter. Why Conservative Shooter? You're going to give up your ammo regen for Piercing Shot. Piercing Shot is hilarious. It turns your ultimate into a one-shot kill. It'll one-shot Chaos Warriors, I swear to God. And if you headshot it, you get it right back. So it's really fun, but it means you have to give up the only source of ammo sustain you have in your kit, right? So you switch to Longbow, which is 1, extremely ammo efficient, especially if you're hitting headshots. It's already break even. And 2, you bring it with Bloodshot. So you get a Bloodshot proc, you double arrow at head level into a horde, you're guaranteed to hit at least 2 things. You're going to make net ammo off of this. You actually already have net ammo sustain. Along with this, I'd probably give up Spirit Arrow for HP regen, but I'd probably keep this because none of this is very good. Ricochet is kind of a failed idea. Anywho, basically it means you have a really efficient boss damage and you can kill super armor in one hit like a Shade. But the only thing that's kind of memey about Piercing Shot is if you don't headshot, it's very, very low value. Hagbane, of course, is much better for saving teammates because it's very fast versus Longbow. So you give up a lot. But again, you get that insta-kill potential on Mass Chaos Warriors and such. So it is possible this build endgame is really good if your Piercing Shot's amazing. But in any case, it's really freaking fun. So that in and of itself recommends itself. So that's your bonus build. Okay, again, reminder, there's a video demonstrating how to play this and also doing guided runs that's posted the same day. So just go ahead and look for that. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day.